Folks, welcome. This is 108 Stitches, which is a video podcast mostly about knitting, sometimes a little bit about some other crafty things. I also tend to talk about baseball a little bit in my life. So a reminder for you, if you are returning or if you're new, just to let you know, my name is Emily and I live in Seattle, Washington with my husband Office and our pup Norman. And I also work as a, well, I guess my technical title is coordinator of baseball projects, but kind of like a baseball analyst for the Seattle Mariners. And so hence the name 108 Stitches, which is the number of stitches in a baseball. And why I like to talk about baseball, because I love baseball. So anyway, yeah, it is very, very warm here. So sorry if you can tell that, if you can hear it, or if you can see like my hair or any yarn or whatever getting blown. I have a fan on right here because we are actually setting record high temperatures in Seattle this weekend. Not just record like for that day or for that month, but ever, like highest temperatures ever recorded in this area. And part of the reason why that's a little bit tough in this part of the country is because nowhere has air conditioning. So, you know, I grew up in Oklahoma, and the summers could get really hot in Oklahoma. It would get, you know, up over 100 degrees Fahrenheit pretty consistently in like July. But everywhere had air conditioning, so it wasn't a big deal. You just stay inside, or, you know, hop in the pool, that kind of stuff. Well, here in Seattle, because it almost never gets this hot, you know, nowhere has air conditioning. So our home doesn't have air conditioning. We feel very lucky, actually, that we live in a duplex, but it has a like an upper floor and a lower floor, like a downstairs area. And the downstairs area is largely underground, and that really helps us out because that level stays really nice and cool since it's underground, and of course like heat rises and stuff. But I am upstairs recording this right now because the light and everything is so much better here. It is Sunday, June 27th, and it is around 10 a.m. in the morning, so it's not to the hottest part of the day yet, but yeah, it is. Let's see, inside our house right now it's like 85, 86 degrees, and it's been kind of hanging out there the last couple of days, which is warmer than you would want indoors. But outside, I think today and tomorrow it's supposed to get over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I think tomorrow it's even supposed to get up to like 110, which I think the high temperature record in Seattle is 103. So it's going to be warm, but I actually have the most knitting mojo that I've had in a long time. Crazy how that happens, like right when it's really hot, because it's actually kind of uncomfortable to knit when you've got like a wool and stuff on your lap when it's really hot. But yeah, it feels like it's been a while. Sorry, I guess this little introductory period is going to be really long today, but yeah, it feels like it's been a while since I've chatted with you all. I think I last recorded right before I went out of town and let you all know about the Stripey Turtle Tank test knit application. So we are cruising with the test knitters. Thank you so much to everyone who applied to test knit. We've got a really great group of folks that are going to be test knitting this pattern and have been. We've already got some people who have finished, and I just love seeing them, and I can't wait to release the pattern so that all of you can knit it. I think the pattern release is going to happen in early August, so stay tuned for like exact dates and information about that. But the test knitting is going really well, and some of you may have actually seen this on Instagram, but I did a little teaser last time just about kind of exciting things coming on this front, but really excited to let you all know that we are actually I am collaborating with Melanie of Big Little Yarn Co. And she has put together some beautiful kits for the stripy turtle tank. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is a tank pattern that I designed. My first ever pattern that I designed. Who knew? Oh my gosh. Y'all, I'm so emotional about it. I was actually talking with my husband the last couple days just about, sorry, I'm so rambly. I haven't done this in a while, so bear with me. But just thinking about how, first of all, I never imagined that I would ever do this. You know, self-confidence issues and all of that wrapped up into it. But, you know, I never thought that I would have an idea or that I would be, you know, capable of writing a pattern. You know, I don't view myself as a very, like, creative person or, I don't know, just, you know, all of that, like, self-confidence stuff. So I never imagined that I would ever write a pattern. But also just thinking about that I couldn't do this. I couldn't, like, or I wouldn't write a pattern and, like, get test knitters and be able to, like, collaborate with the most incredible, you know, yarn dyer if I hadn't kind of integrated myself with this community. And honestly, like, if I didn't have you all, you know, watching my podcast and, you know, following me over on Instagram and stuff. And so just, like, feeling like I'm able to do this thing that's really cool and I'm getting tons of enjoyment out of because I have this community with you all is the most unbelievable thing. So thank you so much. Just, like, any comments about the tank, those of you who are test knitting or, like, applied to test knits, those of you who are just planning to knit it in the future, it's unbelievable to me. Thank you so much. I'm absolutely blown away, and being part of this community and, like, having the opportunity to do something like this has just been, you know, mind-blowing. It's been one of the most positive experiences that I've had, and yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's updates on that. I guess I can put a picture up of the tank, or maybe I already did during this time that I was rambling if you're interested in seeing it. And yeah, stay tuned if you want to knit it. It should be available in early August. And if you want to get some beautiful kits, stay tuned. I'm going to release, or Mel and I are going to, you know, post about the colors and stuff soon. So can't wait for you all to see them. Anyway, yeah, so like I was saying, I went out of town. I went on a trip with my family. We went to a whole bunch of national parks in Colorado and Utah. We went to all 5 in Utah, and we also went to 2 in, or Nofus and I were able to go to 2 in Colorado. My family went to a couple others in Colorado, and yeah, it was just amazing. It was incredible to see them. Of course, like with the pandemic and everything, I was able to see my family. We drove back to Oklahoma for, like, around the holidays last year, but still, like, it had been, what, like 14 months or something, 15 months, and I'd seen them once, which is, like, really, really rare for my family. Like, I mean, I'm really close to them, so I get to see, I like to see them a lot. We visit each other a lot, so it had been a really long time, and it was really great to spend time with them. And I'm actually, Nofus and I are planning to go back to Oklahoma to visit next week, so we are going to be back in Oklahoma. I think we're leaving, I'm leaving on Thursday, he's leaving on Friday, and we're going to be back for a while there, so that'll be really nice. But because we were on vacation, I didn't knit a ton during that time, and I also just kind of, after coming back, I lost my mojo a little bit, and maybe it was because of the heat. We've also just been really busy. Now that we're vaccinated, we've been hanging out with friends a lot and, like, going to lots of baseball games and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I kind of hadn't been knitting a while, but then the last couple days, I really kind of got it back, and I finished a couple things, including a really big project, and I can't wait to share that with you all. So I guess I'll just go ahead. I mean, I've been rambling for plenty, so I'll go ahead and get started with my finished objects, and I have 2 finished objects for you this week. So to start off, I finished my Magpie socks. So I know I talked about these before, but I've been working on them for a while, kind of like on and off. This was my project that I would knit on, like, in bed when Nofus and I would read. So sometimes we read in bed before we go to sleep. And so I've been working on these as like that kind of project for a while. And then once we started going to baseball games as well, I really like to knit when I'm at baseball games. It's just one of my favorite things. I don't know. I think knitting and baseball go really well together. I really love doing them together, either at home or at the stadium. I just really like knitting while I watch baseball. So I picked these socks back up and started taking them to the stadium with me once we started going to games again. And then I finished them, I think, in the last week or two. I can't remember exactly when. I haven't blocked them yet, but this is just a basic 3x1 ribbed sock. I knit them for myself. Oh, it's pretty dark. Let's see. Maybe you can see a little bit better there. This yarn is Magpie by Grenouille. It's in their 75-25 merino nylon base. It's just this really beautiful kind of like dark blue with like blacks and grays and little bits of brighter colors as well. There you go. You can see it a little bit. There's like greens and yellows in there. I just love it. Unfortunately, it's really hot here, so I'm not going to get a ton of use out of wool socks right now. And I haven't taken any photos or anything of them on my feet because honestly, putting wool socks on my feet right now sounds horrible because it's very hot. But I will, these will be ready for me in the fall. And I'm really excited to wear them because I think this is probably the best fit I've ever gotten on a pair of socks. I think they just fit really well. I did try them on like right after I finished, but that was a little bit before it got super hot. So I think the fit's really good, and I think they'll just be a good pair of socks for me to wear in the fall, in the winter. And yeah, so I finished them. I wove the ends in last night, and I'm pretty happy with them. So those are my Magpie socks. And my other finished object, which feels like, oh my gosh, y'all, it feels like I've been working on it forever. I think I started this in like the second or third podcast episode, and we're on episode, I think this is episode 22. So this project has spanned so many episodes, so many weeks and months, and I finally finished it. And honestly, okay, I talked about this a little bit last time. I think it's beautiful. I don't think I'm going to knit another project like this again. It was just so big. It took so long. I didn't love it while I was knitting it. And I'm just not a huge shawl person. I don't know. You guys probably know what I'm talking about, but if you haven't watched before or don't remember, I knit the Poet Shawl by Sari Nordlund, and I used Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in the Iceberg colorway, which is just this beautiful, cool blue with little bits of like darker blue and kind of teal and stuff in it. I love the yarn. This is the first time I've ever used Brooklyn Tweed. I did run out. So as big as this is, like you all can see this shawl, as big as it was supposed to be bigger. Like I totally ran out. And it's like way bigger than my wingspan. Look at that, y'all. Okay, well, so here's the shawl. And I think it's really pretty. So I talked about it last time. I think that I knew I was going to run out of yarn, so I kind of modified the pattern a little bit. So you can see there's like these two lace sections at the end, and there's like a little bit of a seed stitch section in the middle. So I shortened the seed stitch section to get through as much of the bottom lace section as I could, and I still didn't even get close to getting through the bottom lace section, just not even close. But I actually finished this 2 days ago. No, I finished it yesterday. I finished this yesterday. Basically all I did okay, so I was running out of yarn, and I was like, I'm just going to go until I feel like I have the yarn that I need for the bind off, and I'm just going to bind off. Of course, I mean, look at how big this bottom part is. So it started here, like in this tiny triangle, and then you just keep growing and the triangle gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until this was like, my last row was all this lace right here. Like I can't even, just that row, I can't even with my wingspan is so big. Anyway, I was like, okay, I'll just leave enough yarn to do the bind off, and then I'll just bind off and that'll be it. Well, of course I didn't leave enough yarn for the bind off. I didn't even leave enough yarn to finish the row before the bind off. It's just so many stitches my brain couldn't even handle like how much I needed to leave for the bind off. I should have done this, like, I know there are tricks that you can do based on like how many stitches and like fingering weight or whatever to know like how much yarn you need. I didn't do any of that. I was like, I think I'll be able to tell. No, I never can tell. So I ran out of yarn. I was like, okay, I need to go back 2 rows because you're supposed to bind off like on a right side row, which is fine. So I was like, okay, I'll pick. So I picked back all the way back 2 rows, and then I started the bind off. And y'all, I still didn't have enough yarn for the bind off. The bind off just, it took so much more yarn than I was expecting. But anyway, I ran out of yarn for the bind off, like 4 inches. This whole thing, I had like barely any. So I was like, I'm not picking this back again. I found a yarn that I had in my stash that was really similar in texture. It's like a really light gray. I don't know if you guys will even be able to tell like on the screen. Let me try to show you. This part here, the bind off is gray. I don't know if you can tell that. So like over here, the bind off is blue. And then this part right at the end, you can see is gray. And you know what? Like, I was ready to be done with this. And normally that would bother me, but I'm done with it. And that's the way it is. So this is not the best time of year, probably. Literally the hottest day in this area of the world ever. And I finished the most massive wool shawl. So, you know, will not be wearing this anytime soon. Honestly, like, I don't even wear shawls a ton, so I don't know if I'm going to wear it that much at all. That kind of is, like, what's making me think that I'm not going to knit shawls like this again. If I do, like, I want it to probably be more interesting. Like, I knit the Plumpy by Andrea Mowry and Vertices Unite by Stephen West, and I really enjoyed both of those, I think more because, like, they were more engaging. This was, most of it was just a giant seed stitch triangle. I don't think I'll be knitting something like this again. Not that I don't love it, it's just, like, it's beautiful. I mean, y'all, look at this lace. Like, it's gorgeous. But maybe my last time for a giant lace or seed stitch shawl. I don't know. Anyway, I finally finished it. I told myself, so I guess this kind of goes into my whips. I started, well, okay, I wanted to finish this before I went on vacation. I think I talked about this last time. Didn't happen. I had a couple projects I was making for my brother, and I needed to finish those before I left, and so this was priority. I finished those before I left, and the shawl didn't get done. But I didn't want to take the shawl on my trip, and of course I'm not going to go on vacation, especially like we were flying and driving a ton. Like, I'm not going to go without knitting. So I didn't want to take the shawl, but the project I wanted to take, which I'll talk about next, is like one of my new cast-ons. I needed the same needles that were in the shawl. So I told myself, okay, I'm allowed to take these needles for this new project, only if, when I get home, I don't knit a single stitch of the new project until the shawl's done. And I set that boundary for myself because I just knew, like, I wasn't going to come back to the shawl. And I was so close. I had, like, I don't know, I think, like, 15 rows left of the shawl. Which, like, the rows take a long time and it's lace. So, like, it wasn't nothing. But it was, like, I'm so close that I'm not going to let this not get finished. I'd been working on it for so long. I was like, I'm finishing this. So I'm not going to, in this home, I'm not going to knit on that new project at all until I finish the shawl. And so I held myself to that, and I finished the shawl. And then last night, after I finished the shawl, I started working on this project again. So this is what I cast on my trip, for my trip. And I've talked about this a little bit before. So this is my current work in progress, and it is, so it's actually kind of modified from a pattern. This part is the most modified part actually, but I talked to you guys about this I think a while ago. I saw this sweater on like, I got an ad for it on Instagram. It was like a Madewell sweater. And it was clearly like brioche or like half brioche or whatever. And it had this like kind of mock neck, and it had these like larger raglan pieces here. And then it also kind of mirrored them on the bottom, like reverse, kind of going in. So it was kind of like a diamond. And I'll put a picture up here if I can find it. And so I've been looking and looking and looking to see if I could find a pattern that had the same kind of elements that I was looking for, that was like a good dupe for this Madewell sweater. I found a couple patterns. There was one that was pretty similar actually, but was like much heavier yarn than I wanted to use. And I actually, before I even found a pattern, I bought this yarn that I thought would be really nice for it, and I've been wanting to use, which is the Rerum Natura Ulysse. And this is the color Poivre Blanc, which is just this really nice kind of like light creamy gray. It's like salty, I guess. I don't know. But I really love it. And if you are interested in hearing more about this yarn, I think maybe 2 episodes ago, I talked quite a bit about it because I swatched for this project. And, you know, I mean, I'm not going to rehash it all. If you're interested, go find that episode. But I love this yarn. And I already, like, am thinking about knitting more things with it. It is the perfect mix between what you think of as, like, rustic yarn and more, like, soft yarn. I just love it. I really, really love it, and I want to knit more with it. But anyway, I think this is just going to be the most amazing sweater for, like, winter. But I found a pattern that I thought matched what I wanted to do pretty well. It actually uses this yarn, which is like a sport weight, and it is the birthday sweater by ANKESTRiCK. I don't know how to pronounce that properly. I'm sorry if I messed it up. And it is a brioche raglan. It doesn't have the bottom detail, and it doesn't have a mock neck, but I thought I could take the pattern and kind of modify it to do what I wanted to. So that's what I did. So I actually I did some math, and I figured out how many stitches I need to cast on. So I cast on fewer stitches than the pattern called for because I wanted to do this neck part. So it's actually like a kind of a low neck, more kind of like a boat neck for this pattern. So what I did is I cast on fewer stitches, and then I did just normal ribbing, not brioche, for maybe 3 inches or so. And then I started doing increases until I got to the number of stitches that the pattern says to cast on. And then I am just doing the rest of the yoke like the pattern says. So I basically just like added on this neck part on top of the sweater so that I can have the neckline that I was wanting. And so this is, I'm to the point now where I'm in the pattern. I've already done my addition. This is what it looks like. I don't know where exactly I am in the rounds, but you can see that's the kind of little mock neck, and I'll just go on my neck like that, and then we'll go out and have the nice raglan detailing here. And then I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do, if I'm going to end up trying to do the like detailing at the bottom as well. We'll see. For right now, I'm not going to make any modifications until then, so I'm just going to try to cruise along until I get through the yoke and like split for the sleeves and everything, and then perhaps, depending on how I'm feeling then, I'll try to do some like increases and decreases to make the like matching detailing at the bottom that aligns with the sweater that it was inspired by. But I don't know, I've just been thinking about this. I don't know if you all think about this at all, but I was just thinking about like when I started knitting, I never would have, I mean, of course I never would have thought to like write a pattern or like knit anything not based on, like knit anything not exactly to a pattern. But now I don't know, I feel so comfortable, and I don't know when that switch happened for me. It's not like there's one day and I was like, okay, you know, I'm a confident knitter now, I can change patterns. to be what I want, but I think it was definitely more gradual, and since I've been knitting so much in the last like year or two, I just feel so much more comfortable and like confident to change patterns into what I want them to be. And that is just like the coolest thing. You know, I have an idea in my head for a garment that I want or something that I want to make. And even if I can't find a pattern that matches it exactly, I feel the confidence to try to kind of like go off on my own and modify or, you know, write it myself to get exactly what I want. And that is just, I don't know, maybe I'm like emotional about it, but it's really cool feeling, I think. I just love that. And yeah, it just makes me feel really confident in my knitting, and I really enjoyed that kind of part of my knitting journey, that I'm there now, that I'm able to, yeah, everything I make is exactly the way that I want to make it, and I love that. And of course it doesn't always work out, like who knows, maybe this will be really weird, like maybe the neckline will be weird, or it'll be bunchy, or I don't know, but I feel good that I can try, and yeah, I don't know. What do y'all think about that? Do you guys modify patterns? Do you always stick to the pattern? I don't know, I'm curious to hear if you have a moment or like you remember when you started feeling confident enough to modify patterns like that, because I've been thinking about that a lot, especially with like writing my own pattern, kind of like where that switch happened for me, and I don't know, it's really exciting. So anyway, yeah, that is really my primary work in progress right now. Oh, I'm knitting size medium 1, size M1. And I think it'll give me a little bit of positive ease, but I kind of like that. That way, I really like to wear like collared shirts and stuff under my sweaters. So it'll be good for like layering and stuff. I don't want it to be super tight. So yeah, that is project 1. I'm realizing I don't have my other whip that I was planning to talk about briefly, but I barely started. Well, maybe I'll go grab it. I'll be back. Okay, so my other whip that I was going to talk about is barely even a whip. I just started it, and it's because I wanted to go to the baseball game, and I wanted to have something to knit on, because I just like to have something for my hands. We went to the baseball, I mean, we've been going to a lot more games, but I cast on, I barely cast on, and then I didn't end up knitting a ton at the game. Another pair of socks, and this is using actually the leftover main color from the stripy turtle tank that I made for my sister. So I'm making a pair of socks for an office. This is Grenouille Lampblack. I guess I can show it to you. It's a dark gray, so like, you know, you're not going to be able to see anything super well. But it's my favorite gray. I love this color. It's just a beautiful dark gray. It's a tonal, really pretty. And I'm just doing a basic ribbed sock. I'm actually going to do 1x1 ribbing at the top, and then I'm going to switch to 3x1 ribbing for the like the body of the sock. Body, I guess? Like leg of the sock. And then I don't think I have enough yarn to do the whole thing in this color, because this is like leftovers and Office has kind of big feet. So I'm going to do the heels and toes, I think, in like a red. But this is just going to be like my baseball project. It's easy. So I started that. And then I have this. And then the only other project I have is my baseball cowl, which actually I'm going to wait and I'll talk about that when I talk about baseball stuff. So the only other like kind of knitting related stuff that I have, I talked about the stripy turtle tank is in test knitting, and we also have yarn kits that are going to be available with the pattern release, which is really exciting. I do have a couple acquisitions. So I actually went to a yarn store for the first time in a very long time, So I guess so also, this is all blurring. The baseball, the life, the acquisitions, it's all going to blur together. But one of the life kind of like bits that I have to share with you all is that one of our good friends got his pilot's license. You guys may have seen, I posted about this a little bit on Instagram, but one of our friends got his pilot's license and took us flying last week, and it was just the most incredible thing. I'd never flown like in a small plane like that, not in like a commercial plane. And it was incredible, like the views and the places we were able to go. It was just really, really fun. But he flew us to Orcas Island, which is like an island, like kind of nearby Seattle. And there was a yarn store there, and so I went in, and I didn't end up buying any yarn, just because I didn't really have a project in mind, and I don't really like to buy yarn without having a project in mind. But I did find these really cute buttons, so let me show you. And I got some of them, and they are little bees. I don't know if you can see, hopefully it'll cute. I really like them. And I got 4 of them, and I'm not really sure yet what project I'll use them for. I still need, I don't know if y'all remember, I still need buttons for my Vega jacket, so I could put these on my Vega jacket maybe, or I may just wait and see if another project comes up that I want to use them for. But yeah, I just thought they were so cute, and I got them. So yeah, those are my bee buttons. And the other acquisition I have is that I actually ordered from the Explorer Knits Into the Wild pre-order, which released a little while back. And, all of the yarn in that was just so gorgeous. But I held myself to only getting 1 skein. And the colorway that I got was the Wild Within. Really gorgeous. I'll show y'all closer up. Hopefully it'll zoom in or focus better than that bee nightmare. But yeah, this is on the Denali sock base, which is an 80/20 super wash merino nylon. And it is just so pretty. It is like orange. Hopefully it'll focus. Yeah, there we go. So it's like orangey, pink, and then it also has these like cool bits of like green and purple. And I just think it's so pretty. I don't know what I'm going to use it for yet. I don't know if I'll make like a pair of socks or combine it. I mean, I've been doing a lot of this like peachy, pinkish, orangey color recently. I've been really into it. So I might do like a shawl with a couple of skeins that I have, although I just told y'all I'm not super into shawls right now. So maybe a shawl is a bad idea, I'm not sure. Or I could make a hat, like a beanie would be cute, or something. So yeah, that is my other acquisition, and that actually arrived yesterday, so good timing right before I recorded. And then yeah, that's really it for acquisitions. So why don't I talk a little bit about baseball? I can share my last work in progress. So like I said, we've been going to baseball games more now that we're vaccinated, and we're in town again. And so we went to, I think, 4 or 5 in the last homestand, which is a lot for us. But the weather has just been gorgeous. I mean, it's really hot right now, but the last couple of weeks it's been beautiful. 70s. Gorgeous, no rain, just really nice outside, and so it's just the perfect way to spend an evening. So we've been going to lots of games, and the Mariners have been on a really nice, kind of like a really nice hot streak. So if you all have watched before and remember, this is my baseball cowl. So the last couple of years I have done a baseball project where I knit a stripe in a different color based on the results of the Mariners game. I've done the Cardinals in the past as well. Like I did a scarf that included both the Mariners and the Cardinals, and I did socks where like one sock was the Mariners and one sock was the Cardinals. This year I'm doing just the Mariners, and I decided to knit the Sockhead cowl by McClure, and I'm caught up actually. I caught up last night, so I'm all the way caught up. If you all remember, the lighter blue, which is Lichen and Lace Beach Glass, one of my very favorite colors, is when the Mariners lose, and the darker blue, which is Woolberry Sock in the Oasis color, is when the Mariners win. And this is what it looks like. You can tell the Mariners have been pretty streaky. You see these like big blocks of color. They go on like losing streaks and winning streaks, but recently it's been really good. And you can see up here at the top, this like longer stretch here, they swept the Rays, which is actually the defending American League champions. They swept them in 4 games, and we got to go to 2 of those games. And I think 3 of the 4 were actually walk-off wins, which was really fun. And so that's been really good. And yeah, and one of the games that we went to was, I think it was actually against the Twins, not in that Rays series, but they won 10-0. So yeah, it's been really fun. I think all of the games we went to this homestand, the Mariners won. They've just been playing really well, and that's been really fun. I know I often give updates about the Cardinals and the Marlins as well, and I will just say that the Cardinals have been playing very poorly, and perhaps I will leave it at that. It has been a pretty bad stretch for a while here, and that's okay, but, oh, I'm losing stitches here. But hopefully they'll bounce back soon, and the Marlins have also been having some trouble, not nearly as much. It's interesting, Nordlund was actually talking to me about this, I don't know, well, maybe this isn't interesting to any of you, but the Marlins pitching has been really good this year, and their hitting has been pretty poor, and they have they're like last in their division and haven't had great performance due to that. But another team that has a really similar breakdown that Office was sharing with me is actually the Mets. They have had really good pitching performance and really poor hitting, and they are first in their division. They're actually in the same division, the Mets and the Marlins are. And I think a lot of it is just, you know, baseball. I always say, like, baseball is random. I mean, it's not completely random, but, you know, there's a lot of randomness there, and there's luck and stuff involved, and so it just hasn't gone the Marlins' way for a while. But I don't know, it's really great to have baseball back. Love to watch baseball. Love that the Mariners are winning. That's really fun. They've got a lot of really fun players. They've been playing really well. J.P. Crawford has been on a really great run here for a while, and that's been really fun. Yeah, that's what I got in terms of baseball. Last up, I just wanted to share a little bit about what's been going on in our lives. So I often will talk a little bit about what we've been up to, and I already shared a little bit of this. We went flying with our friends last week. Let's see what else has been going on. We made breakfast this morning, Sunday breakfast. We just made breakfast sandwiches, egg sandwiches, and a tip that I got from my sister that I don't remember if I shared this before, but some of you may want to try, which is really yummy, is, you know, when you cook your eggs, you normally put like a little bit of oil or butter or something in the pan, even like, you know, if you're doing scrambled or if you're doing, you know, fried eggs or sunny side up or whatever, you'll put a little oil in the pan. And Hannah suggested to me that we use pesto, or at the very least like some of the oil from pesto, as the oil that you cook your eggs in, and it is so good. So we made breakfast sandwiches today, and we did scrambled eggs on our sandwiches, and we just cooked the scrambled eggs in pesto, and it had such a good flavor. I don't know, it was really yummy. So we did that. Also, my mom sent us a box of peaches from this company called Peach Truck, and they have really fresh peaches that they deliver to you. And so we got a box of peaches, 13 peaches actually, and we've been eating them. I love peaches. Peaches are probably my favorite fruit. And so we've just been eating the peaches, but we also had enough that I made some peach cobbler, and that was really yummy. Yeah, we've been going to baseball games, spending a lot of time outside, playing games outside with friends, and Norman loves to go outside. We've been doing a lot more, like we'll take a longer walk and take him to the park and put him on his long leash. We have a 100-foot long leash for him, and just like let him run around. But when it's really sunny, he gets tired really fast, so he only runs around a little bit. But yeah, so that's been fun. It's been great to be outside. I feel like I had other stuff that I wanted to share, and I'm just blanking now. I don't know, I mean, yeah, like I said, I feel like we've been busy getting to see friends. We went to a movie for the first time in a really long time. We actually went to see In the Heights, which was really good. If you guys are familiar with Hamilton, the music is by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote the music for Hamilton as well. And In the Heights was also, I think, originally a musical. So it was fun because a lot of the music felt really, like it, sounded similar to me, to Hamilton. But we went to go see In the Heights. Oh, some of our friends rented out a theater, and so, we were only there with people that we knew, that were all vaccinated and stuff, so we felt really safe about it. But it was really fun to go and, like, get movie theater popcorn again, and the movie was really good. So we really enjoyed doing that, and yeah, I guess that's kind of it. I feel like this was a longer one. Maybe it wasn't by the time I go through and paste it all together, but yeah, I really appreciate you guys listening. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to give you guys more updates in the coming weeks for the stripy turtle tank and like the yarn that Melanie has put together, which again, I just can't even tell you how beautiful it is and how blown away I am by her, and it's been incredible to work with her. So you should check out, she just released her the information about her December kind of mini skein box. So if you're interested in that, you should check that out. Because she is just great. But also I'm excited to share more information about that with you all, and I'm hopeful that my mojo keeps up and that I continue to make progress on my knits and have more to share with you in the next couple weeks. Probably won't record next week because I will be, well, I'm going to be in Oklahoma for the next, really kind of the next 2 weekends, but I may be able to record roughly 2 weeks from now. So that's my hope. I hope I have some progress for you all. I may not have a ton, but yeah, thank you so much for listening and for watching, and I hope to have more to talk to you all about soon. And yeah, I hope you guys do lots of knitting and watch lots of baseball, and have a great week. Bye!